welcome. And as you can see outside, an absolute monsoon of rain. It's been hitting the Ottawa region all over for the past week. And I'm joined with Jenna Mosier, Tyler McDonald here on the hosting today, and it's just been crazy here in Ontario, and our thoughts are with everyone affected with the floods here with the Fury, and we hope that for a speedy recovery. It's nice to see the community come together and help these victims that are affected from the floods, and we hope that everything ends up all right. But we'll start with the game here, Jenna, as the Ottawa Fury FC take on the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And they played Wednesday night in the Amway Canadian Championship as they faced FC Edmonton. Jenna, it was a game where the Fury were dominating for most of the game. They come out a late goal by Ryan Williams, and they got that 1-0 lead going into the second leg.
A very late goal, 89th minute. What a way to finish a game. But that seems to be a trend with the Fury, is they have control. It's just they can't quite put the pieces together. But I think what we're seeing is Dalglish's unique system really come together. They're working out the kinks, and, you know, our defense has been solid for most of the season. Their offense now is looking really good, especially Williams. And, yeah, I think we're going to see it all come together today.
Williams has been using his free kicks to his advantage as of late. He'll be looking to do that again today. Raining outside, it's going to be a mess. What do these guys have to do to deal with the weather?
Well, when it's raining really hard on a turf field, you just got to make sure you get your body behind the ball. You're also going to want to play it on the ground and take lots of shots because you never know what kind of skip and a bounce you're going to get.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have Graham and AJ on the call as the Ottawa Fury FC take on the Tampa Bay Rowdies. We'll be right back.
Hello, there we go.
There we go.
And a good afternoon and welcome to TD Place in Ottawa. AJ Jakubek alongside Graham Ivory, and it's a big match in the USL standings as Ottawa Fury FC takes on Tampa Bay. And Graham, for Ottawa, a lineup we'll get to in a moment that will feature numerous changes as they get set for the Canadian Championship quarterfinals leg 2. Ottawa obviously looking to focus on Wednesday's match.
Absolutely, and you know they're running a 4-match unbeaten streak now with the results in the Amway, and because of that result, we'll see a bit of a different setup.
All right,
for Fury FC starting 11 today.
Starting 11 is brought to you by Gabriel Pizza, Ottawa's bigger, better pizza. And for Ottawa Fury FC, it's Callum Irving. one of the co-stars in that 1-0 victory. A save in particular off of Alan Zebi. A big reason why Ottawa's got a 1-0 lead going into the second leg. 3-4-3, they've got Kyle Venter with his first Ottawa Fury FC start. He had his first Fury appearance last week. Ramon Martin Del Campo and Shane McElhenney. And then you've got Aaron McIngilwa, Sergio Minicio, Lance Roseboom, and Jonathan Barden in midfield. Ryan Williams, Steven DeSantos, Michael Salazar up top, and Graham. First Fury starts for Kyle Venter, Sergio Minicio, who we've seen off the bench, and Michael Salazar, the newly arrived loan player from Montreal Impact, with 17 games to his credit there, a couple of goals and 10 caps to his name for Belize as well.
Yeah, and a good opportunity for Salazar to come into the lineup. Again, we talked about that performance on Wednesday, the 1-0 victory over FC Edmonton in the Canadian Championship. And now the attention shifts to Wednesday. Of course, not overlooking today's game, but it gives Paul Dalglish an opportunity to rest some of his regulars, give some of his other players a good opportunity to make their presence known, and a great opportunity for a guy like Michael Salazar with the experience that he has in Major League Soccer, training at that level with the Montreal Impact, and of course he's been capped by Belize internationally. Looking forward to see what he can bring to Ottawa's attack this afternoon.
For Tampa Bay, they're going with a 4-3-2-1. Matt Pickens in goal. A back four of Marcel Schaefer, 8 caps for Germany. Spent the last 10 years in the Bundesliga with Wolfsburg. Neil Collins from Scotland with experience at Sunderland, Wolves, Sheffield United, and Leeds, amongst others. Damien Lowe, the Jamaican international, and the right back is longtime NASL stalwart Darnell King. In midfield, it's Danish international Martin Vingard, along with Justin Chavez and Michael Nanchoff. Above them, Leo Fernandez and Georgie Ristoff, and the lone striker is Deshaun Brown, the Jamaican international who was brought over from the Chinese Super League, notably on the bench for Tampa Bay, Joe Cole. As the Rowdies work it left to right in their white kits, the green trim, cross, getting a foot to that is Jonathan Barden to put it out for a Tampa Bay corner in the 3rd minute, 0-0. Fury moving right to left in this first half with their all-red kits.
Another name on that substitutes list for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, Luke Bowden, the Englishman who looked very sharp the last time these two met, the second match of the season for Fury FC, that 1-0 loss in Tampa.
Here's the left-footed outswinger on the corner, and it's headed home. And it is 1-0 Tampa Bay in the 4th minute. It was Nanchoff with the delivery, and Leo Fernandez, I believe, got the last touch to it, and all sorts of discussion here between the referee and his assistant, and no goal. So an interesting start nonetheless.
Yeah, so after Yusri Rudolph went over and consulted with his linesman, Felipe Tezquesi, the flag came up yet. So offside, and it is the right call. And while he did not make contact with the ball, he was considered to be part of the play. So Fury FC dodging a bullet there.
Yeah. So it is 0-0, 5th minute now. It's Fury on their heels again, and Del Campo having trouble. The ball for Ristoff, and a very important challenge there from Shane McElhenney. But it comes through, right-footed shot, Leo Fernandez, and Callum Irving with a save, and Ottawa under siege in the opening 5 minutes.
Yeah, the Tampa Bay Rowdies have started this match with extreme pace going forward. They have a lot of pacey players, but they also have a lot of size, as you saw on that earlier corner kick where they thought they had taken the early lead. They have some big bodies in Neil Collins and Damien Lowe. They're two center backs at 6'3". Deshaun Brown, their striker up top, who scored an impressive goal in their last match to send them 1-0 over the Richmond Kickers.
And here comes Deshaun Brown again with a ball wide left across through the 6-yard box. And this is coming to the near touchline for an Ottawa throw. And they've got to find a way to regroup here because certainly Tampa Bay all over them as we have a look at the keys to the game.
Well, key number 1, contain Ristov. Georgi Ristov has been a thorn in the side for Ottawa Fury FC ever since joining the Tampa Bay Rowdies. 5 career goals against Ottawa. He is the Rowdies' all-time leading scorer, and he's the man who allowed them to claim that 1-0 win against Fury FC earlier this season. Key number 2, take your chances. Wherever they come from, Fury FC have to take that opportunity. If you look back to that game against the Rowdies, Ottawa was taking shots from 20 yards, 25 yards out, and having some significant opportunities against the Rowdies. They'll need to look to do that again today. And key number 3, keep things the same defensively. Ottawa has been very sharp defensively. We've seen 3 shutouts in their last 4 contests, including Wednesday's 1-0 win over Edmonton in the Canadian Championship. They'll need to keep it tight in that back line, especially against this Rowdies side this afternoon.
7th minute, 0-0 as Ottawa prepares for a throw inside their own half, right near the near corner flag. Should mention the substitutes today. The available subs for Tampa Bay. Mentioned Joe Cole, of course, the England international. Luke Bowden, Alex Morrill, Akira Fitzgerald, Tamika Makondawire, Martin Patterson, and the former Ottawa Fury FC player in Kyle Porter. For Ottawa, it will be the backup keeper David Paulin, Jamar Dixon, Eddie Edward, Jimmy Chamar-Sano, Anwar Bassi, Tucker Hume, and Cito. And we've got an injury situation here, and Eddie Edwards going to be called into duty right away here in the 8th minute as Shane McElhenney is coming off injured.
Yeah, it looked like he was favoring his groin when he was making his way over to the sidelines, and Eddie Edward quickly getting the boots laced up, and he'll come in at the next available opportunity. So not the ideal situation for Fury FC, having to burn one of your 3 subs inside the opening 8 minutes. Worse off potentially losing one of your defenders to injury, and Shane McElhenney has been, well, a very sound defender for the club this season, less the 1 match that he missed due to the red card suspension.
Yeah, hopefully it's not too serious, but if he's unavailable for Wednesday, then you have to think Obasi, Del Campo, and Edward will be your back 3 if McElhenney can't give it a go in Edmonton.
Well, and that's, the one advantage to many of the players that Paul Dalglish has in his squad is their versatility. And Eddie Edward, naturally a right back. We've already seen him play that role a couple of times this season, and you know what you're going to get from him. That work ethic is probably the biggest part of his game. A very sound defender. You lose a bit of size in McElhenney going out. He's 6'3" compared to Eddie Edward, who's just shy of 6 feet.
Into the 10th minute, 0-0. Goal kick here for Ottawa Fury's Callum Irving. Had a great chat with him earlier this week. Certainly a nice young man that's got a bright future in this game. Getting past the defense is DeSantos with a right-footed shot from distance, and that one's easily gathered by Matt Pickens, but a little sloppiness in the Tampa Bay defense briefly.
And a good read of the play by DeSantos. He knew he was getting closed down and had to take that shot.
Speaking of great reads, Salazar able to win that ball, but brought down, and he's incensed that there's no free kick on the edge of the penalty area. Well, for those watching our broadcast, of course, we've got internet listeners and viewers as well, but for those viewing these pictures, it's an ugly day, and certainly it's a bad time around the Ottawa area with all this rain and the flooding going on. So hopefully Mother Nature will say uncle at some point. We're the ones saying uncle, I should say. Rowdies work it just inside their own half. It's sent forward by Damian Lowe. Trying to pick out Deshaun Brown, but going across is Eddie Edward. Now Roseboom. And it's going to be a free kick Ottawa's way. 11th minute, 0-0. Reminder to stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune in to USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts. It's every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM-FC. That's channel 85. Also, don't forget, Sirius XM-FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. We'll kick here for Tampa Bay, and Pickens sends this just inside the Ottawa half. Flicked on, and here's Deshaun Brown for the Rowdies. Back inside his own half, Marcel Schaefer. On to Neil Collins. Cross Damian Lowe. Ahead to Nanshoff. Michael Nanshoff. Good ball on the left, and it is headed by Barden. Back to the keeper, Irving, and he's got no difficulty with that.
Good delivery there from Michael Nanshoff, and an even better read by Jonathan Barden to slot back into that position and head the ball to safety back to his keeper. And Tampa Bay Rowdies, after claiming victory in their first 3 games, have just 1 win in their last 4. They outscored the opposition 6-0 in their opening 3 contests, but have scored just 5 and conceded 6 since that time.
Tampa Bay second in the Eastern standings, tied on points with Charleston, but the Battery with 1 game in hand and a goal difference of +8 versus the Rowdies +5. Ottawa sitting second from bottom, tied on points with the last place club Charlotte, both with 5 points in 5 matches. Ottawa with a goal difference of -1. They do have games in hand on a number of teams above them, but certainly I think once we get to next Saturday, that's where Ottawa needs to really start climbing the table. Today, I think they'd settle for a point against a very good Tampa Bay team with a lineup that, with 5 games in 15 days and the Canadian Championship so important. I mean, you can understand why that would be a priority. Having Toronto FC come here for a match would be massive for the club. They drew just under 10,000 for Vancouver last year, and you know it'll be bigger than that for TFC if they can get through FC Edmonton. They're longtime Canadian rivals. They're still in the North American Soccer League, up 1-0 going into the second leg on Wednesday night at Clark Field.
And there's a clutch goal by Ryan Williams in the 89th minute. Second straight match for Williams to score, as he's looked very sharp in his last 3 games for Ottawa. But really the story was Callum Irving and a couple of clutch saves in that game. One at the tail end of the first half, one midway through the second half that was a highlight of the night type save. And that's what kept the game scoreless as long as it was. And Ryan Williams capitalized on an error by the Eddies goalkeeper.
Tampa pushing forward here. It's Darnell King. Ball into the box, and that's cleared out by Del Campo, and here comes Dos Santos. Damian Lowe gets back, though, and they'll take possession for Tampa Bay. 16th minute, 0-0 here at TD Place. And certainly a smaller crowd than normal today, which is expected on two fronts. Number one, because of this torrential downpour. Actually, that might be number two. Let's be honest, the Ottawa Senators with a pretty big playoff game this afternoon at 3 o'clock, so not the best, nothing you can do about it in terms of scheduling. It was a late decision by the NHL to make this a 3 o'clock start for television purposes in the United States, and so a tough head-to-head matchup for Fury here today. As this goes out for a goal kick, Tampa Bay.
Well, after such a frantic start as the Rowdies just had Ottawa hemmed inside their own, almost their own 18-yard box for the first 3-4 minutes. Things have settled down and Fury FC looking a lot more calm now. Of course, they've already had to burn one sub with Shane McElhaney coming out to injury and Eddie Edward coming in his place.
Fury, Ryan Williams tackled harshly here.
Well, that was Ristoff that got Williams, and immediately the official signaled to the athletic therapist, Eden Pereira, to come out to tend to Ryan Williams, who looks in a world of discomfort.
So both Ristoff and Williams getting treatment.
Well, you can imagine that, well, just from what we saw in the replay, I'm not sure it was severe as the two players seemed to, the shouts from both players made it seem. Williams back to his feet, as is Ristov. Definite booking for Georgi Ristov here as he goes into the books with a yellow card. It was a late challenge and from behind, and really no need for it.
Ristov was the match winner when these two teams met in Ottawa Fury FC's second game of the season. 1-0 Tampa Bay winning that one in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Ristov with the winner in the 47th minute, just 2 minutes into the second half, and you know, it was a half where short of that goal from Ristov, Fury FC certainly looked the side more favored to score goals in that match, at least in the second 45. 10 meetings between these two sides.
Here's DeSantos giving it a go with his right foot, and that one misses wide. So Steven DeSantos with an opportunity there from about 25 yards out.
Well, and those are the opportunities that Ottawa need to take this afternoon, because Tampa Bay does not concede much deep inside their own 18-yard box, and good heads-up play by DeSantos, just gets one stride inside the 18-yard box.
Yeah.
Wasn't able to hit it cleanly.
I said 25 yards. I was off by about 9.
Well, that's where he started, you know. But look, these two teams have met 10 times in their history. 7 of those 10 matches have been decided by a goal or less. So it's always feisty. It's always tight. And I expect nothing less again here this afternoon.
20th minute, 0-0. Rowdies with a free kick just inside the Ottawa half. It's played near touchline for Darnell King. Back to Damian Lowe. DeSantos pressuring him, and Lowe the ball high in the air that Barden will head forward for Ottawa, looking for Salazar, but comes back into the Tampa Bay half, and Collins has it for the Rowdies. Now Schaefer on the left. Ahead Georgi Ristov. Leo Fernandez on the far touchline, and that will be a Tampa Bay throw. As they work it in for Deshaun Brown. A reminder that Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. Ottawa throw here inside their own half. Well, busy stretch for Ottawa, as we mentioned. They played Charleston on Saturday, ended up 2-2. Then the Wednesday match in the Canadian Championship. 1-0 winners against FC Edmonton in the first leg as Makangilwa gets a bit of a knock from low, but he's okay. Then today, and then off to Edmonton to play Wednesday in the second leg of the Canadian Championship before returning home on Saturday. And a date with Pittsburgh, so it's 5 matches in 15 days, and that's why important to be able to rotate the squad for manager Paul Dalglish. Flex out for an Ottawa throw. By next Saturday, we're hoping the rain will have stopped.
Please, please let it stop.
Free kick, his wrist off is dumped just inside the Ottawa half. So Tampa Bay will push players forward as Nanchoff will deliver. About 47 yards out. Launched forward and headed wide of the goal for an Ottawa goal kick. There's Neil Collins at the end of that. I guess back to the difficult scheduling today, and nothing you can do about it. For our Tampa Bay viewers, it would be like a Tampa Bay Buccaneers playoff game going on at the same time. Hockey is king in this country, and football is king in the United States, and you're not winning that battle at any point when you've got a playoff game. The last time the Bucs had a playoff game.
I was waiting for that dig.
Famous Jameis. And the Buccaneers actually, at least they're getting better. They've won a Super Bowl more recently than my Washington Redskins, so I shouldn't be saying too much.
Well, one of your good friends and one of our producers, Steve Bunda.
Yes, he is a big Bucs fan.
Big Bucs fan. Apparently very happy about their first-round pick, too, as I understand.
He's always happy. 24th minute, 0-0. And this will come to the Tampa Bay keeper, Matt Pickens. Sent forward into the Ottawa half. Header won by Del Campo. And Tampa Bay has it at the halfway line. And it'll be a free kick going the Rowdies' way. Schaefer going down, Marcel Schaefer. What a career for him. 8 caps for Germany, 10 years for Wolfsburg. One of the better teams. They played in the Champions League numerous times. And it's not just about Joel Cole and Tampa when you look at this star-studded lineup.
Listen, this is a scary-looking squad when you look at it on paper and you look at the resumes of many of these players. But you have to think that the expectations because of that roster are remarkably high.
Well,
and as well as should be, but
yeah.
I'm just saying, like, when you look at, we've seen some very strong Tampa Bay Rowdies side. You look at their last 2 years in the North American Soccer League, where they kind of fell off in the second half of the season, missing the playoffs on both occasions. And now again this year, it just has, gotten incrementally better than what we've seen in the past, but they need to have a result at the end of the year that is basically showing them as a team that's competing for the trophy. And by that I don't mean in the playoffs, I mean playing in the championship game.
Yeah, no question about it. Here's Fury pushing forward, and it's Lance Roseboom, the captain. Stops near touchline, pushes this back, and it's played by Venter into the middle for Del Campo. Del Campo, now Venter to Del Campo. Wide right, Barden for Salazar, and a free kick for Tampa Bay. Yeah, I think San Antonio, Cincinnati, Tampa Bay, I mean Ottawa. They certainly don't have the same budget, the same type of players, but I mean certainly high expectations here this year for Ottawa Fury FC. It's still very early. Progression in the Canadian Championship right now, very important. And again, with 8 clubs making the playoffs out of 15 in the East, a lot of time to make up ground when you're only 5 matches into the season, as Darnell King will send this into the Ottawa penalty area, and it's cleared away by Eddie Edward. Now here's Nanchoff. 28 yards out. Comes wide right. Nanchoff. Played by Vingard, wide left, Schaefer. Quick little 1-2 with Leo Fernandez, and good challenge there by Barden on the far side to send it out for a Tampa Bay corner in the 28th minute, 0-0.
Yeah, one element I like about John Barden's game is just his defensive awareness. Positionally, typically very sound player. Another good challenge. That's the second time we've seen him come back today and make a clutch play defensively for Ottawa.
So corner. From the far corner flag, this will be an outswinger for Michael Nanchoff. Here's the delivery. And a one-time ball from Damian Lowe forces a save from Callum Irving, so it'll be another corner, this time from the near corner flag. As Lowe gave that an effort on the volley.
Yeah, it's always interesting, AJ. I love these types of set pieces. So many teams set up so differently, and the big players that the Rowdies have. Sometimes you see teams starting their runs at the top of the 18. The Rowdies just on the cusp of the 6-yard box.
Another delivery from Nanchoff. Flicked on by Lowe, and Ottawa's able to get this outside the penalty area, and it's cleared forward by Venter. And here comes, DeSantos brought down on the counter. That'll be a card for sure. And it'll be yellow against Justin Chavez, second Tampa Bay player in the book, joining Georgi Ristov.
Yeah, it was a definite yellow, and that's the one thing, and Jenna talked about that in the pregame show, AJ. You really have to watch how that ball can skip off the turf, especially when it's coming down from such a height. Steven DeSantos showing some quick wheels there and then was pulled down. Just before that play, I was going to say the one thing that I really like about today's game is, yes, the focus is going to be on what they can do Wednesday in Edmonton, but to now see a guy like Kyle Venter get a start, a guy who really hasn't played in the last 18 months due to injury, it's really crucial that he's able to get some minutes. Came on as a late sub last weekend in Charleston. Now getting the start here this afternoon against the Rowdies. And it's one thing to say, look, the guy's been in shape. He's worked tirelessly to return from injury, but there's a difference between being athletically fit and being match fit. And when you've gone that long without playing in a competitive match, days like today's are very vital to continue Kyle Venter's comeback.
Yeah, great to see him out there, especially he was so good in the community last year. He won that award for Ottawa Fury FC and stuck around throughout the injury-plagued season. Well, it wasn't an injury-plagued season. That's when you get multiple injuries. I mean, he didn't.
Well, it was for the club.
Yes.
Right. And that's been the great thing, and we've seen that a couple times now. I remember year one, Nicky Patterson going down with a severe knee injury, and he was Mr. Community that whole time. And Kyle Venter, no different last year. Whenever the call came, he was everywhere.
0-0, 31st minute, and Lance Roseboom getting stuck in. But Tampa Bay will get this forward on the right side, wrist off, and corner conceded by Ottawa's Ramon Martin Del Campo. Should mention as well, back to the turf. You talk to the players, they absolutely love it when it rains here because it gives it more of a grass type feel. So they're probably the only 22 right now that aren't minding this rain. As the delivery from Nanchoff comes to Collins. His shot deflects off Del Campo, and it'll be another Tampa Bay corner, this time from the far corner flag. .32 minute. Still awaiting our first goal. Tampa Bay thought they had one early on a set piece from this spot. Nanchoff delivery. And that's headed away by Venter, and now shot is blocked as Chavez gave that a go. Comes back to Damian Lowe, and not sure what he was trying to do there. He's lucky that sliced out for a throw as his effort from about 35 yards out didn't even get across the byline.
Well, it's a favorable bounce for Lowe because as opposed to Ottawa having a goal kick, the Rowdies now have the opportunity to pin them inside their own defensive third. Definitely an ambitious effort.
You're being generous with the word ambitious. Ooh. DeSantos.
Well, there's going to be another booking here, and
this will be against Tampa Bay.
Well, this could be Chavez, and if it is, that's... Oh, no, sorry.
No, it's Darnell King.
Darnell King, my apologies. Third Rowdy player in the books now. Now called for the athletic therapist to come out and tend to Steven DeSantos, who looks as though he's in a fair degree of discomfort.
Ottawa's already been forced to use one of their subs early on, with Eddie Edward coming on for the injured Shane McElhaney, and boy, they certainly wouldn't want to use a second first half substitute, especially with what's coming up on Wednesday night, the importance of that match against FC Edmonton, with Toronto FC awaiting the winner in the Canadian Championship semifinals.
Well, and just for the purposes of this game, especially when you look at, that Rowdies bench and what's potentially coming on for them as this game progresses forward.
Reminder to tune in to Corner Kicks every Monday night at 6 on TSN 1200 for all the latest on Ottawa Fury FC and the soccer world.
What are we talking about this week, AJ?
You're the boss.
Oh, yeah. No, I moved chairs.
That's what I mean. That means you're the smart one.
Okay.
.35th minute, 0-0. And Steven DeSantos back in the play. Free kick for Ottawa. Now Ristoff is knocked to ground by Kyle Venter.
Well, that shouts from the Rowdies bench. The foul was called. They want a card on that play as the elbow from
No
Venter
chance.
might have got into the ribs
Come on,
there,
fellas.
And once again, John Barden, great defensive read there. Oh, and Steven DeSantos almost could have turned and went there as the ball goes over Damian Lowe.
Rowdies pushing forward. It's Darnell King. Ball into the middle. Vingard sends this wide left. Schaefer. Ahead, Leo Fernandez. He's tripped up. Free kick, dangerous spot for Tampa Bay. This one about 23 yards out. And near the far touchline. Usually Rudolph pacing off his 10 yards and putting down the spray. Rudolph, the referee. The assistants today, Philippe Betez Kwesi and Sean Hornsby. Chris Grabus is the fourth official. Here's the delivery from Nanchoff on the free kick, and it is cleared away by Eddie Edward. And Fury again trying to catch Tampa Bay on the counter, and DeSantos puts this out of play.
I thought you were about to break out in song there when you said Rudolph, the referee.
Sometimes I'm not even going to go where I'm going to go. I'm not even going to go there. Just going to be happy AJ today.
Hey, what's not to be happy? It's raining out. You're dry. We're watching
dry.
soccer.
We are dry. We're the lucky ones. Here's Salazar getting this forward on the right side for Jonathan Barden. Into the middle, Minicio. Now Venter just inside the Tampa Bay half. Gets it to Roseboom. Sergio Minicio. Salazar. Minicio. Wide right Barden. Back to Edward. Ottawa hasn't had long stretches with possession this afternoon yet. But this pretty good stuff here as Roseboom gets it to Williams. Now wide left for McCongilwa, and it'll be an Ottawa throw as King sends it out of touch. 39th minute, 0-0. As Venter steps up to take this. Venter trying to spring to Santos.
Oh,
good touch. Now back out Salazar, drops it Minicio, and Ottawa just couldn't do much with that.
Well, Minicio wanted to get that touch first time. But Salazar able to drop it back to him, unable to get a shot away, but a great first touch off the Venter throw by Steven DeSantos.
McCongilwa wins it, and they're going to call a free kick for Tampa Bay, which draws some groans from the diehards here at TD Place.
1 point on Michael Salazar. He was acquired via loan from the Montreal Impact on Tuesday, but did not dress for Ottawa in the Canadian Championship, as Montreal will keep him cup tied, because in the event that they require him, as they will take on the Vancouver Whitecaps in the semifinal round of the Canadian Championship. That will begin on the 24th of May for them.
And
club
it
that
would be the 23rd of May if Ottawa ends up advancing and playing Toronto FC. Return leg either way. Whoever's playing at BMO Field in Toronto, that'll be on May 31st. As Roseboom plays this forward for DeSantos, headed back by Lowe, but DeSantos runs onto it, gets it onto his left foot, and it comes back to Salazar. He goes down in the penalty area. And Tampa Bay will send this out of touch with Salazar down.
Well, dangerous header there from Damian Lowe. I'm not sure if he was trying to head it back to Matt Pickens. Either way, he didn't hit it cleanly, and Steven DeSantos almost with an opportunity. Not sure what happened on the play with Salazar, but again, signaling for the athletic therapist to come out to tend to him. And Salazar now pleading his case to Yusri Rudolph.
I have to think Paul Dalglish is quite pleased with this first half. After Tampa Bay came out storming, the first 5-6 minutes you thought, uh-oh, this could be a long afternoon, and they've really settled down. Tampa Bay has certainly had the better of the play, but again, against what I think is the best lineup in USL, and with a side that is certainly weakened as they get set for that Canadian Championship semi on Wednesday. Fury with a pretty decent first half, settling down after a tough opening 5 or 6 minutes.
Well, I know that Paul Dalglish has his critics, but I will say this. If you look back to that successful season in 2015 from Ottawa Fury FC, you weren't happy with how things started, and then it was decided that, look, we need to fix things defensively here, and that's where it all began, that successful season. Then the offense came along, and everything just clicked, and, well, we know what happened that season, and I think we're starting to see that every game the progression is better. Defensively, this team looks very sound back there, very comfortable inside their own defensive third, and it's progressing forward now. When we saw a great game last weekend against the Charleston Battery, when you put two up against a side like that, just always perennial contenders in the USL, the Charleston Battery. You look at that starting 11 when you have 6 or 7 of those players who have been with that club for at least 2 or 3 years, if not more. So the continuity there is a big key to their success.
Can't get to that one, buddy.
43rd minute, 0-0. Salazar is okay, and Fury win a free kick just inside their own half. Make sure you stay up to date with all the latest news and information on some of the game's top talent and rising stars in USL. Visit uslsoccer.com and also follow them on Twitter at USL. Fury in possession here, Dos Santos. Back to Eddie Edward, just inside the Ottawa half. Del Campo for Roseboom. Here's Benicio. Edward. Ramon Martin Del Campo. Now Roseboom pushing forward, and Nanchoff able to win back possession for Tampa Bay as it's sent wide right for Darnell King. Little back heel action there from Justin Chavez, but Fury win it back from Williams.
Great footwork by Ryan Williams there to win the ball under pressure. Salazar down on the pitch.
Getting word there will be a minimum of 2 minutes of stoppage time in this first half. Still a minute to play before that.
I honestly didn't see what happened on the play that resulted in Salazar going to ground, but it certainly incensed the Ottawa bench as they immediately went to the linesman to question why nothing was called. Well, no love lost between these two sides. The 11th time that they've met, the team that Ottawa's seen the second most next to the team that they will play for the 17th time Wednesday night in Edmonton.
Tampa Bay pushing forward. Looked like that was out, but referee says play on. It comes back to the keeper, Irving, so everything ends up okay. As Fury win a free kick inside their own half, and now we'll get official word from the fourth official. Minimum of 2 minutes of stoppage time to be played. 2 minutes.
High school French paying off for you, AJ.
High school French immersion. Get that straight. Launched forward by Del Campo. Good ball, and here's Makangilwa trying to work his way into the Tampa Bay penalty area, and that's just a bigger, stronger Darnell King muscling him off the ball.
Yeah, well, that's 5'3" against 5'9", not necessarily two big players, but 6 inches to the better is Darnell King.
Throw from the halfway line for Tampa Bay, and Makangilwa gets it forward for DeSantos. Lowe wins the ball from him. Moves it ahead, and this will be dealt with by Del Campo. Back to the keeper. Callum Irving. Sends this into the Tampa Bay half. DeSantos and Lowe went up for that, and Lowe went to ground hard and gets up, and he's okay. There'll be a few ice packs for the players after this one, because there have been some knocks either through physical play or just like that, where he hit the ground going up to try to win the header.
No, he said at the beginning that it's always an intense affair when these two sides meet, and certainly living up to expectations.
Good challenge there by Minicio. Played forward by Williams for DeSantos. Lowe wins it for Tampa Bay. Fury gained possession back through Minicio. Now to Venter. Del Campo. And there is the halftime whistle. With the score, 0-0. Ottawa Fury FC and Tampa Bay, and Graham Ivory, again, as I mentioned earlier, Ottawa has to be quite pleased with how they performed, especially the last 40 minutes, as Tampa Bay really started to dominate early on, but Ottawa got their bearings, and I think 0-0 through the last 40, certainly fair.
Well, when you look at the starting lineup that Ottawa came out with, you also remember that they came off a game Wednesday night, and yes, you take confidence away from that 1-0 victory, but I think saving that short of the 4 minutes where they were under siege, as you said, I think Ottawa progressed their way forward in that second half. They look very sound defensively now. They had that couple of chances from Steven DeSantos, and I think Paul Dalglish should be very pleased with what he saw from his side through 45 minutes.
We'll hear from Paul Dalglish shortly in conversation with our Sanisha Syndic. And yeah, I mean, for Ottawa Fury, if they can get another point here and just get out of this tough stretch of games, I think they can really start to look ahead and say, okay, that's where we can push forward in the second half of the season, the middle part of the season. It's still early, just 5 games in, as we head downstairs for Sanisha Syndic with Paul Dalglish.
Dalglish, Paul, 0-0 after 45 minutes. A lot of rain here. What are your thoughts of this first half?
Yeah, Tampa started very, very quickly and put us under a lot of pressure straight from the start. And, you know, we kind of dodged that in the first 5-10 minutes, if you like, and then we settled into the game, and I thought we were much better after that. I think it's been a very, very high-tempo game, a lot of fouls, a lot of stop-start plays, so hopefully when it calms down a little bit in the second half and the space opens up a little bit, we can show a little bit of quality and get that goal we need.
3 clean sheets out of 4 in your last few games, 0-0 here after 45 minutes. What's the recipe behind the defensive success lately?
I think it's just hard work. There's no secret to any success. It normally results in hard work somewhere, and these guys work tirelessly every day, and you know, we focused on the defensive piece in the early parts of the season to give us a platform, and now we've got to start getting that offense clicking and try and get these Fondo supporters some goals to celebrate.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
And there you have it. Paul Dalglish in conversation with our Sanisha Syndic.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that when Sanisha asked him about why the team has done so well defensively, he said simply, it's just hard work. The system has been the same since day one. but I think they're working it out properly. But every player is committed to it right now, and not just the guys who are playing in that back three. From the back forward, everyone's helping on the defensive side of things, and that's why it's done well for Fury FC thus far through 45 minutes here this afternoon.
Coming up, we'll have our player profile. We'll also hear from Jenna Mosier and Tyler McDonald. 0-0 the halftime score. This is Ottawa Fury FC Soccer.
It's been a long journey, you know, many countries, many places, different styles of football. But I like it. It's been special, and I tend to continue the same way, you know. I think I still have a long way to go. So I just want to keep improving and keep getting better and playing. It was a point that I had to decide either keep playing professional there or move to the US. I always wanted to know the country that I was born. You know, I was born in Miami, but I didn't know much about the US, so I needed a change. So I decided to go to the US, and it ended up being one of the best decisions I ever made. Paul, at that moment, he taught me a lot of things, you know, how to become a better professional, good habits, and it was special. Like, I didn't think about it when Paul called me to join him here in the Fury. So I'm looking forward to have another great year like 2013 when we won the PDL. So I'm definitely looking forward to keep working with him. I think he gets the best out of players, and as a player you have to be hungry, and also you want to keep improving, and he's always on top of the players in that sense. We had that pressure from the beginning as well, you know, to win every game and to win the championship. But we dealt with it really good, you know, a great group of guys, great coaches, great organization, great fans, and it was special, to be honest. It's really difficult, you know, the competition is not always what you see, you know, there's always many players that they want to be where you are, and you don't even know them. So I think you gotta stay hungry, you gotta keep working and making sure that you improve every day, even if it's a little, but keeping hungry is one of the biggest things, you know, and always have faith and believe and trust yourself, you know.
Well, welcome to our halftime show as we take a look at what's trending. Tyler McDonald alongside Jenna Mosier. And Jenna, first off, Ryan Williams, a player that's been playing outstanding since he's come back from injury. 2 goals so far. His set pieces have started coming into form, known as that free kick taker. What have you seen from Williams so far this season?
You know, Williams is almost like a coach's dream when it comes to a player. His determination just was an example of why he scored that goal in the 89th minute. He never stops. He never quits. He's strong. He's a leader up front, and he's going to have an incredible season if he continues to play the way he's been playing.
He's been playing between the midfield or attack, depends on the day that, or at least the match that he's playing in. But someone that's always been putting in that hustle and being, or at least trying to get first to that ball, it's something that you've noticed at a Williams game.
Yes, he's always first to the ball. He's always challenging. He's always winning. But the one good thing about Williams, actually one of the best things, is he's not only a leader on the field, but also off the field. And I think that really shows when it comes to working with his teammates and being a cohesive unit.
Now, Callum Irving, he's got 3 clean sheets in the last 4 games. A good Canadian goaltender, someone who's been playing absolutely outstanding, some massive saves he's had in the last few games. What about this addition of Callum Irving and how much he's brought to this Fury team? You know, he had a hard job to do this year because Dalglish really wanted him to become part of the play as well, almost like an extra back, and he really stepped up to the plate, no hesitation, and I think his confidence is what makes him so great in the goal. He's had some experience with the Canadian national team as well. That Canadian influence on a Canadian team, that's something he spoke about, that he enjoys playing in Canada as a Canadian. Something you like to see as the game continues to grow here. Oh, yes, most definitely. Canadian soccer just continues to get stronger every year. And with players like Irving promoting it, behind it, it's just going to create a lot of excitement in this beautiful country of ours. Just 24 years old he is as well, so a young player just about to get into his prime, and you can see that really coming into form this season. Just talk about the amount of extending and amazing saves he has done. We've seen almost his legs grow on each save he makes. Yeah,
definitely. And it's hard to imagine how young he is. Just imagine how great he's going to be next year.
Absolutely. Now, moving on to our captain, Lance Roseboom. 37 consecutive games he's played as a member of Ottawa Fury FC. There's your Ironman streak right now going on for Fury. What a leader he is on and off the field, and you can tell that the communication he shows on the field really helps toward the 3-4-3 Donglish is playing.
You know, and if I was just to describe him, he would be the brain of this system. He's the most consistent passer out of the entire Ottawa Fury team, and he is the glue that holds them together.
You know, you can tell, of course, playing that midfield role, you have to communicate with not only your defense but your forwards as well, and you can see that when that play comes to him, whether he has the ball or doesn't have the ball, he's communicating, directing players where he needs to go, almost like a coach on the field.
Exactly, and that's what you want out of your central midfield.
No, and that's something that he's been really known for. And just speak captaincy, it was something that Lance Roseboom was really blessed of getting, that he said, and something that he's honored to have. Being a captain in a role with a team that's, you know, trying to get back into things here, 4 games unbeaten, but trying to get another win on the board. What's the captain need to say there?
You know, just be encouraging, keep things positive, and just try to keep the pace of the game going. You know, keep encouraging your players, and don't be afraid to ask more of your players at the same time.
All right, well, let's see if Fury can try and sneak out a win here. 0-0 at halftime. Tampa Bay and Ottawa Fury FC playing in the rain. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, second half coming up.
We've raised the stakes. Expectations are high. Our biggest season yet will break records with elite players and future stars, innovative technology, and new homes. We're growing the game in our communities and across the nation. Are you ready?
We built the USL into the largest Division II professional soccer league in the world. And now the time has come to announce USL Division III, America's professional third division league, completing the U.S. pro soccer landscape. It's time for your town, your team, your game. D3 will fuel local pride and local passion, creating a new legacy for the beautiful game and inspiring its tribal following across the country. This is professional soccer, built on a disciplined financial model and operational excellence, featuring exciting venues to thrill fans, in hungry new markets yearning for the game. USL Division III, professional, passionate, proven. Pro soccer starts here, coming in 2019. For more information, visit usld3.com.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
We've raised the stakes. Expectations are high. Our biggest season yet will break records with elite players and future stars. Innovative technology and new homes. We're growing the game in our communities and across the nation. Are you ready?
Welcome back. AJ Jakubek alongside Graham Ivory as Ottawa Fury FC and Tampa Bay Rowdies are 0-0 at halftime. And what does Ottawa have to do to either preserve the point or maybe even go for all three here in the second half?
I think the simple thing is just keep doing what they're doing. We've seen them go through that first 45 minutes with this natural progression of, well, I think we were all pretty scared inside the opening 4 or 5 minutes when they were just completely under siege, and then progressively they worked their way back into the game. And as you see in those first half highlights, there was a goal that the Rowdies thought they had scored inside that opening 5 minutes to take the lead on the corner, rule up back on the offside, and that was probably their most dangerous opportunity. You saw Steven DeSantos with a couple of half chances as well. Nothing major, really, from either side, which is, I think, quite comfortable for Fury FC to be in that position against a very star-studded Tampa Bay Rowdies side. So keep doing what they're doing. We were talking about it in the halftime, AJ, where we were looking at the possession stats, and, you know, it's Ottawa certainly clawed their way back inside the last 7-8 minutes of that first half. And I think the key thing for Ottawa is this first 5 minutes of the second half. That's when they conceded that one goal in the 1-0 loss earlier in the season to Tampa Bay, and they'll want to make sure that if they want to continue with the result the way it's going, is that they hang on to that through a good 5 minutes to start the second half.
Let's have a look at the first half stats for Rico, making information work for Ottawa Fury FC, and 56% possession for the Rowdies. And the shots 5-3 Tampa Bay. Corners, they had all 5, so they were the better of the two sides in the first half. But certainly Ottawa was a lot better as the half progressed. And in particular, about the last 5 to 10 minutes, possession was well over 60% Tampa Bay up until that point. So Ottawa really starting to find their way in this game over the last few minutes.
Yeah, and it was just developing that sense of calmness when in possession of the ball, because there wasn't a great number of times inside probably, the opening 25, 30 minutes where you saw someone with Ottawa get the ball, put their foot on it, and then consecutive passes to work their way up the field. They were trying to hit Tampa on a quick break a few times, and rightfully so with some of the numbers that Tampa Bay had committed forward. But as kind of the final 10-15 minutes of that first half, you really saw Ottawa try and slow the pace down, get the ball moved around, try and create some penetration through the middle, get the ball out to the wide side. Certainly one area where I think they miss Andre Campbell this afternoon. You know, he's suspended, serving the second of 3 games for that red card. So that's something that I think is a bit of a change. But otherwise, you know, I think they finished that half very well. But like I said, that first 5 minutes of this second half, vital to how this game is going to end for Ottawa Fury FC.
5 minutes of extended halftime coverage. So while we wait for Ottawa Fury FC and Tampa Bay Rowdies to return to action, why don't we talk about Wednesday night and what is going to be another big match for Ottawa Fury against FC Edmonton at Clark Field. We saw how big it was last year for Ottawa to finally get through to the semifinal stage of this competition, having been eliminated by FC Edmonton in 2014 and 2015 in the quarterfinals. Last year they got to play Vancouver, had almost 10,000 here for the semifinal match, and then a 1-0 win on Wednesday certainly sets up an opportunity to do that once again, only with Toronto FC. I mean, not your closest neighbor because it would be Montreal Impact, but I would think the most high profile of the clubs in Canada. They reached the MLS final last year, and to get Toronto FC here to Ottawa, to TD Place, I mean, what do you think that would mean for the club?
Look, I think when you look at Ottawa Fury FC, that game against Vancouver last year was huge. But in the market of Ottawa, you know, really where it comes to pro soccer, there's always going to be that divide between Toronto FC and the Montreal Impact, similar to there was prior to the Ottawa Senators coming to the nation's capital, that divide between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens. So for Ottawa, Toronto FC was the first professional team in Canada in Major League Soccer. That started back in 2007. And there was such a groundswell of support for them, especially in the province of Ontario, that of course reached our borders here in the nation's capital, that there are a lot of Toronto fans here in Ottawa. Not that far of a trip for fans to come up, but I think you'll see a very well-attended game should Fury FC be able to progress Wednesday night with a result in Edmonton. And frankly, I'm excited for it. And selfishly, here in Ottawa, I think that game needs to be here. Because we've seen FC Edmonton, they played Toronto, they played Vancouver, they played Montreal, home and away legs in the semifinal, and they don't draw crowds. It doesn't matter who they bring into Clark Stadium, you don't see the attendance that type of match deserves. We saw it here last year against Vancouver. I know we'd see it again this year against Toronto FC.
What do they have to do to bring that home? I mean, up 1-0 going into the second leg. Of course, the away goals rule applies, so the fact that Edmonton didn't get any here, a real bonus. What do you expect in the return leg on Wednesday?
Well, you said it right there, the away goal. If they nick one, the pressure on FC Edmonton is immense, because if they have basically 2 goals on aggregate, with one of them being a road goal, you're forcing FC Edmonton, a team that does not typically score a lot of goals, they need to put 3 past you. So 1 goal for Paul Dalglish's side, and I don't want to say you're in the driver's seat, but you're in a much more comfortable position than if you aren't able to score, and then it's a very close tie, and it'll be a tough 90-minute performance.
And I think one of the things, I mean, it's interesting today, we're seeing the 2 sides that moved from the NASL to the USL. And one of the things that I've noticed is I don't think there's a heck of a lot of difference. You certainly see it a little bit with maybe the B sides, Toronto FC 2 and so on and so forth, a little bit younger from that standpoint versus some of the more established players that you see in the NASL, and also, you know, these 2 teams here today and some of the other independent clubs in USL. But I think important for the club, for those that maybe were concerned, you know, what's the difference between NASL and USL, and is it going to be a big drop? Is it going to be a lower level? I think those that knew realized it wasn't going to be that way, but when they see the score line and they watch how that game went on Wednesday, I think they now know for sure, okay, you know what? This is a pretty good league too, and this is also Division 2 now.
Yeah, I think the fans have to be pleased with what they've seen, both from Ottawa Fury FC as well as from just the opposition in USL in general, and even that home opener against Toronto FC, a very young side. You know, I think the brand of soccer was very entertaining for the fans on that afternoon.
All right, we are underway in the second half. 0-0, Ottawa Fury FC and the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Reset the lineups for Tampa Bay. It's Matt Pickens, the keeper. Back 4 of Schaefer, Collins, Lowe, and King. Vingard, Chavez, and Nanchov above them. with Fernandez and Ristov, and then the lone striker being Deshaun Brown as Tampa Bay pushing forward. Here's a long shot from distance, stopped by Irving, and this is cleared out for a corner. Ottawa looking for a foul as Jonathan Barden did well to clear that away.
Yeah, and Jonathan Barden sacrificing the body there, and it's Aaron Mukungilwa who's down on the left side. Didn't see what happened to him on the play. Once again, John Barden doing a great job defensively and had to take a knock there to sacrifice the body.
For Ottawa, it's a 3-4-3 with Callum Irving in goal. A back three of Venter, Del Campo, and Eddie Edward, who came on for the injured Shane McElhinney. We'll get to the others in a moment as Nanchoff delivers the corner, and it's grabbed by the keeper Irving, and they rule that it went out of touch anyway, so this will be a goal kick for Ottawa. In midfield, it's Mukungilwa, Minicio, Roseboom, and Barden, and then Williams, Dos Santos, and Salazar up top. So again, unfortunately for Ottawa, in the opening 7 minutes of this game, they had to bring off Shane McElhinney for Eddie Edward. Hopefully he's not too seriously hurt for future matches. Tampa Bay in possession, moving right to left in this second half with their white kits and the green and gold trim. Fury with their all red kits and moving left to right, 48th minute, 0-0. Rowdies right hand side, work it with a cross in towards Leo Fernandez, and that goes out for a goal kick. Callum Irving, one cap for Canada, and boy, if he keeps putting in performances like this, he'll get more. He's had a great start to the 2017 campaign. That's one thing Ottawa Fury have had from day one, from Davala Goric to Romuald Pézère and now to Callum Irving. Goalkeeping has always been a strength of this club.
Well, it's a vital position, and you look at the kind of the different setup that they've had with goalkeepers, and Davala Goric, who was kind of like your mid-range professional, to your Romuald Pézère, who was an experienced veteran, and now Callum Irving, the young up-and-comer. But regardless of age and experience, they've had very sound goalkeepers in their midst.
Darnell King for Tampa Bay. Nanchoff for King. Sends it forward, looking for Ristov. Skips along the turf quickly. As you'll see, again, a noticeable difference with this rain coming down hard at TD Place in Ottawa. The ball certainly moves a lot quicker on the turf. Now, if there were big puddles everywhere, that would be a different story. We did see one game where it rained that hard, and it was a slight factor in terms of the ball actually went the other way. It started to slow down.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember exactly which game
that was. That was a game last year. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember if it was against Fort Lauderdale. It was the one against Fort Lauderdale or OKC. It was one of those two teams. And
the most notable rain game in the stadium, though, came in the Canadian Football League. A game that was, well, there were some soccer scores that might have come close to outscoring it. A lightning delayed game in the Ottawa Redblacks inaugural season in 2014 that ended up 7-5 for the BC Lions, with fans forced to flee the stadium before returning after a lengthy delay. Fury pushing back on the left side, Makungilwa, and he'll win a throw in the 51st minute. It's 0-0.
Well, we've now played 5 minutes of this second half, AJ, and I think Ottawa will be pleased with how that first 5 minutes progressed.
And here comes corner number 1 for Ottawa Fury on the afternoon. And Ryan Williams will deliver, and very dangerous, especially from that far corner flag where with his right foot he can deliver an in-swinger. DeSantos creating havoc inside the 6-yard box. Here's the delivery, and it does come outside the penalty area as we do have a man down. It looks like Eddie Edward right at the edge of the 6-yard box, and he's going to get up and hobble a little bit, and that's the last thing Ottawa wants to see. He came on as an injury substitution. Tough customer, though, as he tries to run it off.
Well, both players went up for the ball, and I think he just had his man come down on the side of his leg.
Yeah, if you're talking about the football analogy, if you were to pick one member of Ottawa Fury FC that you'd say, other than the position of kicker, we won't say kicker, I think Eddie Edward would be the most likely to be a football player with his toughness and just how he's built.
I think might make for a heck of a running back.
How about safety?
Sure. Hey, you're the football guy.
I'm kind of the everything guy. Here's Schaefer with the delivery. And that is cleared away as Schaefer gets it back. And now Salazar wins it for Ottawa. And here comes DeSantos down the right, leading the counter for Ottawa Fury FC. 2 white shirts on him, and this will be an Ottawa throw.
That was good work by Steven DeSantos. When he got possession there, he realized that he was going to need to hold it up to wait for some support.
Throw here for Eddie Edward. To Barden, and getting in the way was Leo, Ristov.
And once again, John Barden in a very good position to help his side out defensively.
55th minute now, and it's 0-0 at TD Place. Edward for Ottawa inside his own half, and in the middle for Del Campo. Ahead for the captain, Lance Roseboom. Good ball on the left. Trying to spring Makungilwa. Now with a cross, and that'll go out for an Ottawa throw. Jesper Fast has opened the scoring at Canadian Tire Center. It's now 1-0 New York Rangers lead in the opening 5 minutes over the Ottawa Senators. That series tied 2-2. Fury work it back to the keeper, Irving. Ahead for Ramon Martin Del Campo. Eddie Edward for Lance Roseboom. Now on the left, Kyle Venter. Williams, and it'll be an Ottawa throw. Fury pushing across the back 4. Here's Eddie Edward. Back into the middle, Ramon Martin del Campo. Edward ahead for Minicio. On the right for Jonathan Barden. On a spring, Steven DeSantos, and Lowe able to read it well, plays it back to the keeper Pickens, and launches this to the halfway line. Tampa Bay winning a free kick.
Well, then Ristov is incensed because he didn't want the foul called. He wanted advantage played. But just on that previous opportunity for Ottawa, great read by Jonathan Barden to play it through the middle to Steven DeSantos instead of going out wide. And Michael Salazar was making a run down the right side.
Darnell King on the right, lays it off. Chavez for Nanchoff. His ball met by the head of Del Campo. Roseboom ahead. Minicio fights hard to win this ball for Ottawa and goes out for a Tampa Bay throw.
Cito looks up and ready to come into the match on the sideline for Ottawa.
That'll be the second substitute for Ottawa Fury FC. Had a good chat with Cito this week. He's born in the United States. It's a good ball in, and that slides right to Callum Irving. Tampa Bay missed an opportunity there. Looked like that was Nanchoff who made the run and slid at that ball just inside the 6-yard box. Here's Benicio. Wide right, Jonathan Barden. We'll finish the Cito story when he gets subbed on. Works it in, and it's headed away by Darnell King. Edward for Ottawa. Back inside his own half. Del Campo. That ball got away from him, trying to play it to Venter. And here comes Tampa Bay on the attack. Leo Fernandez lays it off on the left side. The cross in, and Soren Brown played it right across the 6-yard box, and it's cleared away. Now the cross from Schaefer. Cleared again as it comes back to King. Into the middle for Chavez. Nanchoff. Plays this wide right. And the ball in looking for Deshaun Brown, but takes one bounce off the turf, and it's taken by the Ottawa keeper Callum Irving. 59th minute, 0-0.
Well, it was Kyle Venter with a good clear on the previous opportunity, but then good work by Ottawa to hold their defensive line as Tampa Bay tried to work the ball around to find a seam.
Eddie Edward plays this forward, looking for Roseboom, headed away by Damian Lowe. Now Chavez for Tampa Bay. On the right for Nanchoff. Back to King. Lowe for Neil Collins. And on the left, Marcel Schaefer, German international. This goes forward and comes back just outside the Ottawa penalty area. Well, the goals are coming fast and furious at Canadian Tire Center just up the road. Nick Holden scored to make it 2-0 Rangers, but Mark Stone has countered with Ottawa's first, so it's 2-1. Still first period. Rangers over the Senators. Game 5 of that best-of-7 second-round playoff series, and a hard challenge by Darnell King leads to a foul, and we will see substitution here as Cito will come on for Ottawa. And Cito's a player that born in the United States, so he does have domestic privileges when it comes to soccer here, but grew up in Spain. As Cito will replace Ryan Williams, and grew up a big fan of Deportivo La Coruña, where of course Julian de Guzman starred for numerous years in La Liga, the assistant coach for Ottawa Fury FC. So I had a chance to chat with him about that and said, yeah, he was a big fan of Julian's growing up watching him play.
I spent the last 2 years playing in Iceland. You know, I had a good chat with Julian this week and talking about that first opportunity when he came in with Deportivo La Coruña, and second game getting the start to play against Real Madrid. And of course at that time they were playing him out on the wing, and he had started the previous game and they had a good game, got a result, and so that's where they had pegged him for probably about the first 5 or 6 games that he was playing with La Coruña, or Deportivo La Coruña.
Good ball for Salazar. And this goes out for another Ottawa corner here in the 62nd minute. 0-0 the score, and chance for Cito to get right into this match as he'll get this corner in on the left-footed in-swinger. Dos Santos in the 6-yard box, and 5 other players inside the penalty area as the delivery is made, and it's headed up in the air. Oh, well, that's going to be a foul on Salazar for sure. Tampa Bay free kick inside their own penalty box.
And he's going to go in the books for that one too.
Yeah, no doubt about that. First yellow card against Ottawa. Going to Michael Salazar, the Ottawa Fury debutant, loanee from Montreal Impact. Georgi Ristov, Justin Chavez, Darnell King all on a yellow for Tampa Bay. Into the air, Roseboom inside the Ottawa half for Salazar. Moves this back, and this will be an Ottawa throw, and Stuart Campbell incensed on the Tampa Bay side of things.
To be fair, I think he has a good reason to be. I'm not sure how this is an Ottawa throw-in right now, to be honest with you. From our vantage point, certainly looked like Salazar was the last player to make contact before it went into touch.
Fury get this ahead, and Dos Santos for Manicio. And this time it's going to be a Tampa Bay throw. And they take it about 10 yards too far up. Reminder to tune in to Corner Kicks every Monday night at 6 on TSN 1200 for all the latest on Ottawa Fury FC and the soccer world. Ball skips along the near touchline. Deshaun Brown couldn't get to it, so it's cleared back to the halfway line. Damian Lowe, center circle for Tampa Bay. Wide left for Marcel Schaefer. Moves this ahead and comes back, and this goes out for an Ottawa throw now.
Great play by Ramon Martin Del Campo to come across on Deshaun Brown there. Move the ball forward. Really been impressed with the young center back Del Campo. Just 23 years of age, but he's had a fantastic start for Ottawa. Scored last Saturday in that 2-2 draw at Charleston.
Tampa Bay in possession just inside their own half. It's Nanchoff. Wide right for King. Head for Chavez. Back to Nanchoff. Center circle, Vingard. Wide left, Schaefer. Now Vingard. The ball down the left side that's read well by Eddie Edward. And Edward being grabbed, and he'll win a free kick inside the Ottawa half for Fury.
Some of the Rowdy subs warming up on the sideline, one of which is defender and Canadian and former Fury FC defender Kyle Porter. Played here last season under Paul Dalglish.
Eddie Edward ahead for Roseboom. He'll play it back to Del Campo. Ahead Mukungilwa, and he won't be able to keep this in play. It's a goal kick now for Tampa Bay.
That was a good ball forward, but first touch from Mukungilwa was too heavy and was too far ahead of him, even despite his speed.
So goal kick for Tampa Bay. Taken by Pickens. Won by Salazar for Ottawa. Now Jonathan Barden, but Fernandez wins it back for Tampa Bay. Chavez ahead on the left. Good ball for Schaefer. Gets the cross in. Oh, dangerous ball. And that didn't come far from going in either. It was a real great curling cross there from Marcel Schaefer.
Yeah, definitely an intended cross. You have a look. He's looking up the whole way. Doesn't hit it probably the way that he wanted to, but a dangerous opportunity for the Rowdies nonetheless. He tried to drive it into that back post.
'68th minute, 0-0. And a Fury throw coming up just inside the Tampa Bay half. Again, third match in 8 days for Ottawa. And it'll be 5-15 when they're all said and done. This game's Wednesday against Edmonton on the road in the Canadian Championship quarterfinals, up 1-0 in that on aggregate. And then home to Pittsburgh on Saturday as Tampa Bay gets forward. It's Leo Fernandez for Nanchoff. Now to Chavez. Low for Collins. With left back Schaefer. Tell you, in my championship manager game, Graham, left backs are really hard to come by.
Oh. So much of your spare time, AJ.
It's a prime commodity. Tampa Bay in possession now. 70th minute, 0-0. Here's Chavez. Schaefer. 25 yards out. Trying to play this wide left, but went off Roseboom and comes back now to Vingard. Again, Tampa Bay still has all of their substitutes available. Ottawa's used 2 of 3. King down the right side, and he'll win a corner for the Rowdies. Nanchoff will deliver. Far corner flag. 71st minute, 0-0. This will be a left-footed in-swinger from Nanchoff. kudos to the diehards who showed up through the elements. And this Nanchoff, it's the corner, and they say it deflected off Ottawa last, and so it'll be a near corner flag attempt.
Yeah, but kudos to the fan who's standing in the supporters section without a shirt. I'm not sure to say whether he's brave or crazy.
Probably a little both. So Nanchoff will do a left-footed outswinger, and here's the delivery, and headed towards goal, and they're calling a free kick anyways. But Irving forced into a save there. As it was Damian Lowe got the header on target, but free kick given Ottawa's way, so it wouldn't have counted.
Having a quick look at the out-of-town scores, AJ. Pair of games last night. Swope Park 3-1 winners over Vancouver. Colorado 3-0 over Tulsa. This is the lone match of the afternoon. Kicking off in about 20 minutes time, New York Red Bull 2 home to the Harrisburg City Islanders. 7 o'clock starts tonight include Richmond home to FC Cincinnati, the Charleston Battery home to Bethlehem Steel. San Antonio are home to Sacramento Republic. That one should be a very entertaining game. San Antonio, the highest scoring team in the USL, and also perfect to start their season.
Yeah, and it's Charleston and Tampa Bay leading the way in the East. 8 of the top 15 will reach the playoffs. Both these teams, both Charleston and Tampa Bay, on 13 points. Ottawa with 5, but games in hand on numerous teams above them. 3 points out of 8, so a win would put them, on goal difference, even with Rochester, although they would have played one more game than the Rhinos. But nonetheless, I think a point would be something they'd be happy to take today and start racking up points in the games ahead. And knowing you've got 2 games out of the way with Tampa Bay right out of the gate, I think is important. Here's the third and final substitution for Ottawa. We'll see Jamar Dixon replace Michael Salazar, the Belize international. What did you make of his Ottawa Fury debut?
Well, I want to say, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, that we didn't have to say his name very much. And I think if we didn't talk a lot about Michael Salazar in his debut, that's probably a good sign. Created a couple of opportunities, looked comfortable on the ball. And in a game like this where, very much like a chess match, not a lot of opportunity going forward, wouldn't expect to see that offensive punch that the Impact have seen from him on a few occasions when he's in their lineup.
'75th minute, 0-0. So Ottawa's subs are used, and Tampa Bay has all 3 at their disposal as Barden runs forward, and referee says play on.
No, he got all the ball, AJ, and that was a determined run from John Barden. Won it once in his own half, and then a good challenge there in midfield.
As Chavez went flying, and this will be Matt Pickens who scoops this up. Yeah, and I don't have much of a problem with that either. I mean, he was just going forward and got the ball. Or on second look in the replay, maybe he didn't. At the very least, deserved a free kick.
We've been talking a lot about Toronto FC this afternoon, AJ. The hopeful opponent for Fury FC in the semifinals of the Canadian Championship. They're currently 1-0 up on the Seattle Sounders through 40 minutes. At CenturyLink Field, Josie Altidore with the goal from the penalty spot.
Tampa Bay looking for a handball there. It looked like Benicio, as he was trying to catch his balance, got a touch of the ball. And that's what they're calling a free kick here for Tampa Bay. 40 yards out. Delivery. And this goes out for a goal kick for Ottawa.
Well, it looks like Martin Patterson getting ready to come into the match for Tampa Bay.
Martin Patterson, all sorts of experience. Nice to be able to bring someone off the bench who's played at Stoke, Burnley, Huddersfield, Blackpool, Orlando City for a little bit. So he's got all sorts of experience, the Northern Irishman. Northern Ireland international with 23 caps. He's no Will Grigg, though. He's not on fire like Will Grigg.
That's your boy.
So in comes Martin Patterson. And he'll replace Leo Fernandez. '78th minute, 0-0. Are we going to see Joe Cole today, or did he just make the trip to Ottawa so he could see Parliament Hill?
Well, all jokes aside, I haven't seen him warming up with the rest of the squad when they've been down there warming up. So not sure if we are going to see the former England international.
Fury get this back to Eddie Edward. Now it's Ramon Martin del Campo. Back to the keeper, Callum Irving. Eddie Edward. Del Campo. Good ball for Makangilwa. And the offside flag is up. Well, it doesn't have that feel of a match that is going to have a late winner like the one on Wednesday, where you could just sense it, where it was going to come either way. But soccer, one never knows where a goal might come from.
Yeah, and Wednesday night's game, AJ, you could just sense from it was going to come from one side or the other, just because both teams were just letting it all go forward. And I think both teams have been very cautious and responsible, especially now in this second half as the game has worn on. I think the tell from Tampa Bay might be with their second substitution to see if they're going to push hard late in this one.
Roseboom for Ottawa, and he's fouled dead center just inside the Tampa Bay half. Edward for Benicio. Trying to pick out DeSantos, but again, the flag is up for offside. 10 minutes plus stoppage time remaining here at TD Place. 0-0 the score. Fury work it forward through Minicio, but Schaefer wins it back for Tampa Bay. Now Ristoff. Minicio shepherds this out of play, and it will be a goal kick for Ottawa Fury.
You look at Ottawa's lineup, AJ, in preparation for Wednesday's away leg in Edmonton. Ottawa Obasi, he'll be fresh. He did not play today. Tucker Hume, he'll be fresh. Jamar Dixon only came into this match in the 74th minute. Cito came in the 61st minute. Of course, the guy that you probably thought was going to get a lot more rest today, Eddie Edward, he had to sub into this match in the 8th minute for Shane McElhaney, and you hope that whatever was plaguing him at the time will be resolved for Wednesday night's fixture.
Dos Santos has brought down a very hard challenge, 35 yards out, and this will be a free kick left of center for Ottawa Fury FC.
Well, usually Rudolph is he's got his earful from both sides today. He'll be glad when this match ends.
So this will be 35 yards out for Ottawa.
Yeah, straight lines aren't his thing. That spray was a little wonky, no?
As long as he got it down. Cito with the delivery, and this is headed outside the 18-yard box to Santos near touchline. Lays it off Barden. First time ball. And good one. It comes down now on the left side, and Cito just couldn't get a shot away. Mukungilwa, the speedy Mukungilwa, regains possession for Ottawa now with the cross. Comes back out. Here's a right-footed shot by Cito, and a good save by Pickens. Really the first time he's been tested here this afternoon.
That was a great one from Aaron Mukungilwa to win that loose ball, turn his man, and then turn on the Jets and create that scoring opportunity for Ottawa. Good effort by Cito to kind of turn his body around the ball, get a dangerous shot on target at the near post.
84th minute, 0-0. Here's Roseboom for Ottawa center circle. Little 1-2 with Minicio. It comes back to Venter. Del Campo for Edward.
And it's Alex Morrill now getting ready on the Tampa Bay bench to come into this match.
Ball forward here as it comes to Deshaun Brown. Deshaun Brown with a shot, it's blocked. Second effort, and puts that over the bar.
Once again, fantastic defending from the young center back in Ramon Martin Del Campo, sacrificing the body to block that shot from Deshaun Brown. And he has a very heavy shot, and from that range, always a danger.
Roseboom.
Oh,
it's taken away here by Jonathan Barden. Here's Barden, 25 yards out. Plays this to the corner flag, and Dixon just couldn't get to it. And that will be a corner nonetheless for Ottawa Fury FC. 5 minutes plus stoppage time remaining, and maybe we will see a late winner here.
Well, and I'm watching this one and I'm thinking, wow, Jonathan Barnes put himself in a very dangerous position, but then he wins the ball. If he doesn't win that, then Tampa Bay is forward with numbers, but he's been so sound in his game today. And now he's won this set piece for Fury FC.
Cito with the left-footed in-swinger from the near quarter flag. Here's the delivery. And headed away by Damian Lowe. Comes back to McCongilwa though. He's been more dangerous as this second half has progressed. With the cross, it's headed away. Now Roseboom. Ball wide right and a little too much mustard on that, and Cito couldn't get to it before it went out for a goal kick. 0-0 as we're about to enter the 87th minute here at TD Place, and here comes the second substitution for Tampa Bay, and it will be Alex Morrill coming on, and he'll replace Michael Nanshoff. Goal kick flicked on by Ristov. Header by Ottawa's Sergio Minicio. Flag is up. Offside the call.
Well, looking at the stats, AJ, and possession now just 53% to 47%, so that just shows the progress in this second half by Ottawa Fury FC, and they felt their way through this game, and outside of that opening 4 minutes where Tampa Bay just seemed to threaten constantly, Paul Dalglish will be very pleased with the performance from his side here at TD Place this afternoon.
And has to be happy with his depth in squad where you can rotate guys in and out, and that's where that agreement with the Montreal Impact certainly comes into play and helps out on a day like today.
Yeah, no question. Aaron McCongill has had a great game out on that left side, especially picking up Michael Salazar on loan earlier in the week. He was a welcomed addition, and perhaps even more importantly, giving another option for Paul Dalglish in attack that allows him to perhaps rest some of his regular starters in preparation for Wednesday's match in Edmonton.
So a throw here for Ottawa Fury FC in the 89th minute inside the Tampa Bay half. 0-0. As this back heel goes out for a goal kick for Tampa Bay. Of course, a draw is good enough to put Tampa Bay top of the table in the USL East, but Charleston would have 2 games in hand. And for Ottawa Fury, they would move from 14th to 12th with a point today, overtaking Richmond and Toronto FC 2 on goal difference, and they would be even on games with Richmond and still with a game in hand on TFC 2. Also even on points and even on goal difference with Bethlehem Steel, but Bethlehem will have a game in hand after today. But still stoppage time to be played here, and hearing that it'll be a minimum of 3 minutes of stoppage time. Ooh, high boot there. Campbell might have got away with a foul. As we are into stoppage time officially now. Rowdies pushing forward. Chavez back to Collins. Wide left, Schaefer. Now Vingard. Here's Ristov. And this goes off of him and out for a goal kick.
And good work again by Kyle Venter. We talked about it earlier in the broadcast, AJ. First start as a member for Ottawa Fury FC. First start as a professional in over 18 months. Came on as a sub late against the Charleston Battery, so valuable minutes, and I'm sure while exhausted, he'll be very pleased with his performance today, his first 90 minutes in quite some time.
Fury win it, Del Campo. Raise this high into the air. Low going after it, and we'll leave it for Darnell King. Boots this forward. Header won by Ottawa's Sergio Minicio. Now to Lance Roseboom. Does Ottawa have some late magic for a second straight game as it goes wide left to Santos? Goes down and not getting the call. Eddie Edward now.
And Santos was absolutely infuriated.
Venter's ball, a little too much on it, right to the keeper Pickens, and he'll hold it. About a minute of stoppage time remaining. Venter goes up hard for that, and just going over his back was Deshaun Brown as the throw is taken by Venter and goes off Jamar Dixon and out for a Tampa Bay throw inside their own half.
You know what the disappointing thing is, AJ? This is the last that we'll see of the Tampa Bay Rowdies until the playoffs, because it's been two spirited affairs between these two teams inside the opening 6 weeks of the season for Fury FC anyways. Game number 2 and game number 6 against the Rowdies.
Would not surprise me if we see them again. Of course, a lot of work to be done, but I still think Ottawa's a definite playoff team, and I think they've got the talent to be a top 4 team in USL East. Tampa Bay certainly has the talent to win the league. Here's the free kick, and we've got a foul called against Tampa Bay, and that'll pretty much do it, as Ottawa will have a free kick inside their own penalty area, and I don't think there's much time on Usury Rudolph's watch. Callum Irving, and there you go. There is the full-time whistle. And for Ottawa Fury FC, a well-earned point as they are up 2 places in the table with a 0-0 draw against a very good Tampa Bay side.
Well, I think they have to be very pleased with the result over the course of 90 minutes. I thought Ottawa, between the two teams, they were the one team that got better as the game progressed on, and very late in that game probably had the most dangerous chance of the game, that shot from distance from Cito that had to be parried away by Matt Pickens. But over the course of 90 minutes and knowing what's going to come before them in the previous week and kind of what's ahead of them, I think Paul Dalglish should be very pleased with the result here this afternoon.
Man of the match today is Jonathan Barden.
Jonathan Barden, both ends of the pitch for Ottawa Fury FC, was rock solid. Most importantly, he was very responsible defensively, always got himself into the right position at the right time, timed his tackles perfectly, and then going forward, went forward at the right time, put a few good balls into the box. Really liked the game this afternoon from Jonathan Barden, who made the most of his start here this afternoon.
Well, that does it for our coverage here this afternoon at TD Place. Don't forget, our next game is Wednesday, and it's a big one from Edmonton. The second leg of the Canadian Championship quarterfinals. Ottawa already up 1-0 on FC Edmonton, and if they can get through, they will face Toronto FC in the semifinals. And then after that, another home game on Saturday as they take on Pittsburgh. For our entire crew this afternoon, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. 0-0 the final. This has been Ottawa Fury FC Soccer.
This copywritten telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.